and we'll get this party started here. So hello, good afternoon, good morning, it might even be good evening where you are. Welcome to MVP Office Hours on not July 9th, it is actually July 23rd, because when I clicked on the most recent deck, I failed to observe the calendar up here that says July 23rd. Anyway, my name is Dale Ziegler, and along with me is Joy Shutters Helbing. And hello, Joy. And usually also with us is Squire Kirshner, but he is offline today doing all the fun things that Squire Kirshner does. You can reach any of us at our Twitter handles there, or the MVP Office Hours handle. We also have our site, mvpofficehours.info, as well as reach out to us on the emails, mvpofficehoursus@gmail.com. Over on the right are links to events that will be growing and growing and growing. Hopefully, fingers crossed that the world lets us do it, but we're cautiously optimistic. In the upper right, mostly focuses on the trailhead events and webinars. A lot of those are going to be more virtual. But what I love about that one is it's not only what webinars are coming up, but if you missed one, you can go back and catch the recording. A lot of great filters to hone in on specific functionality or topics or whatever you may need. And then the admin site is always a great place to go for similar resources. Dream-in events are those led by us in the community, not really any Salesforce oversight on it. So we get to put a little bit more of a personal and intimate touch on it. Pakistan Dream-in coming up here in a couple of months is virtual. Dreamforce, of course, is it's by invite, but it's they're going to try it in person. So we'll see how that goes.
5,000, right?
5,000 per site. So 20,000 lucky people. Oaktown Dreamin', just over the bridge from where Dreamforce will be held that same week, and Tahoe in Florida. So fingers crossed, we're sending best wishes that that we can get some of those events actually going in person and build some good momentum. And then down here on a more local level, how to connect with local groups. If you're new to the community, if you're new to any of it, or even if you've been in Salesforce for years but never reached out to the community, or if you want to get connected with maybe regional groups or other groups. I know here in Kansas City, our groups, we draw people from all over the country and all over the world. We've had India and the Netherlands, and I think we even had Australia one time. So a lot of meetings are still virtual. Some are moving to in person, but on the virtual side of things, get connected. Any of these links can help you get there. Our other slide, wow.
That's what I'm saying.
Wow. Okay.
Do you want me to share my screen?
If you have something, that'd be awesome.
I do.
We're doing it live, folks.
Let me find my Zoom controls, and because they get all mixed around.
I'll make you co-host just to mess with you even further.
Share. Where'd you guys go? Oh, there you are. All right. All the windows. Can you see it? Can you see this one? All right. All right. So we have the 23rd. I love how we update things.
Where is that? Anyway, not important. Go ahead.
Okay. So moving on. There's the global office hours, right? In Portuguese also. On the last Thursday of the month with, I don't see him. Where is Carlos? No Carlos today. But Carlos hosts that in English and Portuguese, and he translates both ways. So if you don't speak Portuguese, you can still join because he would love to have you. And sometimes, MVP Fridays aren't enough. So you got to go with an MVP Thursday. And so you can get us 3 times a month. But you can follow us at MVP Office Hours. And Portuguese, MVP OH Portuguese. We'll get to that Twitter feed. Do we cover that slide, Dale? Yeah.
I can find the mute button. Yeah. We are. Wow, this is fun.
It's Friday. Okay. It's Friday in the summer.
Oh, yeah, that's a double whammy right there. So what do we do here? What are we doing here? So everyone participates. You don't have to be an MVP to answer the questions. everybody just contributes. That's the most important part, whether it's an answer, if it's a perspective, if it's whatever. If you have a question, just raise your hand in the chat, or if it's dead air, as a broadcast journalism major, that was my worst enemy, was dead air. So just feel free to unmute and say, hey, my name is, I have a question. We can also use chat to share resources and links. We do that pretty substantially throughout these meetings. We just ask that if you are not speaking, just mute, please. Zoom etiquette. We've been doing this for a bajillion months now. So if you're not talking, just go on mute. And if we hear weird background noise, we'll mute you for you. But lend us a hand and do it for yourself. But anyway, when you speak, just announce yourself. And that also goes with the Zoom participant list. We know that sometimes Zoom accounts get shared by families, and teenagers have gamer names, all that kind of stuff. This is a professional networking thing. Well, as professional as it gets when I'm running it. Just show us your name so that we know who you are. You can also share your screen, but please make production your absolute last resource, or you know what, just pretend you don't even have a production environment. We are recording this. It will be going on the internet, so it is permanent, and then a little bit more permanent from there. Show us a sandbox, show us a dev org, just not production, please. That's all. Normally, we meet on the first and third Fridays of the month, but July got a little bit wonky with the Independence Day holiday on the first weekend. We will be back to normal in August, in 2 weeks, on Friday, August 6th at 2 Eastern, 1 Central, and I would tell you Hawaii time, but as we called out earlier, math is hard. The registration link is on the left, as well as our community links and hashtags. All right, next. Who are the Salesforce MVPs? Raise your hand super quick. I see Stu, I see Gina. Yep, we got a good bunch in here, but that's a trick question because everyone's an MVP. Y'all are MVPs just by willing to jump on, willing to help answer questions, willing to ask questions that maybe somebody else didn't know to ask. You're all MVPs. All right, next, please. See? All right. We do have a link Hall of Fame, the order of execution. I think we're on maybe 15 or 16 consecutive meetings where we've brought that puppy up, and the Mandela effect. Sinbad was a genie in a movie. I swear he was. Anyway, moving on.
And then, yeah, we just have notes on this, so we're all good.
Well, so Sarah had posted something, I think right after the last meeting. Sarah Pilzer, are you on? Maybe not this time.
Nope.
Okay, so Sarah said that brought up an issue with flow versions being cached by browser. Let me go ahead and share super quick.
Oh, me?
No, I will. I got it.
Oh, like,
You're good.
I don't have that one.
You're good. You're good. Now I'm gonna find my Zoom to share the right window.
We're all blue, and we can see your chat.
Heyo.
Yeah.
There we go. You got flow versions cached by browser?
Yes.
Okay. So this evolved into a chat thread, but Sarah was having issues with. Oh, man, this is good stuff. This is prime interneting right here.
How many logins does Dale have? That's the quiz question.
The correct answer is
how many logins do you have?
Hashtag consulting.
Chrome. That's lovely.
Computer. Anyway, strange thing that came up right after the last call, that weird caching issue. External users reporting seeing 2 different versions of the same flow depending on which browser they are using. An example from a user is the waiver form does not display correctly on Chrome. Tried it on Firefox, it looks better. And attached screenshots. We're just gonna. Yep, there's obviously differences because you have a list of radio buttons there. Looks like. Yeah, looks like some of the screen components are not showing in Chrome, but are in Firefox. If it matters, state input boxes with full name, blah, blah.
The last
What happens
was to
if you
try incognito. Yeah.
So Sarah is not on to give us any more detail or if this got resolved or whatever, but has anybody experienced issues with browsers and potentially caching with flows?
Whoa. That's a tough one.
It felt, when I first saw it, it felt obscure, but not at the same time, because that totally feels like a lightning flow thing to happen.
Yeah. We should ask Jen. But because she's not on automation hour anymore. She works for
Well, that's
Salesforce.
true.
So we can ask her.
That's true. That's very
Send
true.
it, have her send it up the ramp.
Yeah.
I've seen weird things. So I recently did a login flows demonstration, and this probably isn't login flows, but it wasn't caching. But I know that if you are modifying flows and not activating the current one, and especially with login flows, if you have changed the flow that's being used and you don't go back into the active login flow and change the login flow to the most recent activated, or the flow that you're using for that profile, then you're going to see strange things on the user interface. And so I'd ask the question of, it's all the same user, it's all the same profile. The only thing that has changed is the browser. And I assume the answer is yes here.
I think so, yeah.
And there's been no recent editing of this flow to make like a new version of it that needs to be activated. That can cause issues.
Okay.
I know Sarah's not here to answer those questions, but these are things that come to mind.
Right. Okay. That's good stuff, Stu. And I'll tag Sarah on this recording that maybe if an answer hasn't been found, maybe that's it. So we'll tag the recording and go from there. We then also, Todd, did you mention you had an update on something?
I'm
Yes.
here. Yeah, last time we
Howdy-ho.
had this session. I'm sorry, can you hear me fine?
Yep. we got
Okay,
you.
last time we had this session, I asked about fields that have been deprecated or dropped from a managed package not being accessible by Flow or Process Builder. Support has confirmed that's my second known issue that I've discovered now.
It's
So
getting famous.
it's being reviewed. And even better, while I was trying to work around this issue by creating a new custom field, I may have found a bug in the managed package. So I'm on a roll this week. So I did post a link to that managed issue, or excuse me, that known issue in case anyone else is experiencing it. I noticed it's grown 2 this week. It's up to 7 of us that have discovered this.
Gotcha.
So that's all I have. Hopefully I won't have
Oh.
anything the next time we meet.
Well, Friday, August 6th, you know where to find us if you do.
Kind of related. Why do integrations, other managed packages, not work well with Salesforce when it comes to process builders? Does anyone know the answer for that? Because I am so sick of it. I like process builder and I can't use it pretty much.
I would potentially chalk it up to the ever-growing Flow platform, because Process Builder is technically a flow, and they've done a ton, which is great. They've done a ton, which has probably left some vulnerabilities, especially in something like a managed package that then, or integration that it definitely, in my opinion, would leave some opportunities for not all the boxes to get checked in terms of API development and all that kind of stuff. But that's just my perspective.
Well, is that because as a developer or vendor, I can debug a flow? So if I know that my managed package might be used in a flow, I can do some mock-ups testing and then do some debugging in flow, but I don't really have a way to debug process builder. I can do some proof of concept or whatever, but I don't really know how you're going to use process builder.
Right.
Yeah, that makes sense. When I was at Waddell, we had a managed package that did not work at all with process builder. None. We couldn't use them at all. At my new position that I started earlier this month, I'm finding that sometimes that's the issue here too, but they do use some processes built in process builder. So I don't know. We'll see.
Is it because there's triggers that's making the process builders not work?
Possibly. This just happened today, right before this meeting, so I don't know a whole lot about it yet.
Gotcha. So one thing, it might be related, it might not be, but we discovered with a client it was the summer release, so yeah, a couple of months ago, that Flow did away with the contains operators. They tried to call it a feature and then walked it back and said, oh wait, that's a bug. But just going back to the growing evolution of the Flow platform, contains things like that may then play, like, it's not related, but it's not. They're probably somehow correlated somehow, that they're trying to implement best practices. Contains is not a best practice because you're looking for a subset of something. I would not be surprised if integrations managed package, especially since on the managed package side of things, it's locked down, that it's potentially really hard for them to keep up with the growing Flow platform. And as process builders get less and less love because Flow itself is growing. Which sucks because so many instances still have been using process builder and haven't quite grown to record triggered flows and. So anyway, old man on his porch yelling at the.
Well, yeah, and sure, and then you want to add on. So then when you say the things don't allow contains and perhaps likes and things like that, and my mind goes to shield encryption. So for example, if you want to employ shield encryption, there are certain things that it doesn't like either. So I could imagine where it doesn't really care for the contains sort of thing with shield encryption. And it may have problems with certain things like that. So there are other Salesforce features and capabilities that as the Salesforce product world all kind of comes together, it says, well, your peanut butter is in my chocolate, and they don't really mix very well.
Mm-hmm.
So I can see some things having problems like that. Another old man across the street on his porch saying, ah.
Oh, you
The
too.
point is I need to start using Flow more now that I can again.
Right. Yeah. And that's where they want you to go, it's awesome because Flow used to be the super awesome tool that was not the easiest to access, like to actually invoke. And now it's getting all the bells and whistles to definitely bring the code cliff closer and closer to the declarative admin, but you can't just move it without expecting consequences. And that's what we're all seeing now is 3 steps forward and step-ish back or sideways. So
I've always thought of Flow as more of a developer tool, and I think I need to change my mindset on that because obviously it's come a long way in the past few years. So
we don't have any other questions lined up. So why don't we sit on that for a minute here?
Hold on.
What?
Wait, we have one more question posted in the community.
Oh, we do?
We do.
Then we're circling back, Melissa, because I want to discuss that.
Yeah, so it was from Diane and about reporting at the parent account level for cases. I don't know if Diane's on.
It's in the community.
Yeah.
I am.
Yay.
Hello.
Okay. And so your post says we have several KPI reports that are links on our account page that give our client services team case data about the customer. We'd like to provide reporting that looks at the hierarchy so our client services reps that handle the large accounts can click on a link and see the data from a parent perspective. Is this possible? And you got some feedback. I saw that someone referred back to your original question 8 years ago. And then
Which I
someone
did
who
think was funny.
yeah, and then someone also gave you roll-up helper, and that's not quite what you're looking for, it seems like. So we're back.
Yeah.
Do you want to expand on that a little bit more?
I can. So I think these are the old URL hacks, right? You put a link on your account page and it takes you into a report. And that report, for us, we have a number of case reports. So when a client services person's meeting with their customer, they can run these reports before the meeting and get really great data on cases and, you know, everything to do with cases. The problem is that once we have these client services people who are managing large accounts that maybe are in a hierarchy, it'd be great if they could click on a link and just get the hierarchy report, but we can't seem to get that to work.
So
If you want, I can show you what I'm talking about. I can share if you want, but.
my brain is rolling on this right now, and I'm thinking about like putting like a chart component on your case that points directly to the parent account or points directly to the account record. And so the report is filtered by either the parent account or by the account itself to get the data. And this might be an option to use the ultimate parent account thing that Steve Moe talks about occasionally.
Oh boy, hold on. Here, these are the reports here. So the ultimate parent I've never used. So is there specific functionality in Salesforce on ultimate parent?
No, it's a great formula though.
hack.
It's a great formula. So those links are great for the reports. And when you click into them, they don't filter down by this account record.
Well,
And but you can, yeah, go.
Just really quickly, when were those created? 'Cause I think that's important.
They were created, we rolled out Lightning last April. So they were created after that. So probably May, June timeframe.
Okay, so not classic 8 years ago. Recently in Lightning, because that makes a difference.
Well, the person who did them was not me, and he loves to do things in Classic. So I don't know. I mean, when I click on them, I go into Classic. I don't go, I mean, I go into Lightning. I don't go into Classic. Does that make a difference?
Yeah, the how might be the culprit. I'm gonna shut up here for a minute and let you finish explaining, but I'm gonna guess our how it got there might be part of the problem. So go ahead.
Okay. Joy, were you gonna?
Yes. So when you click into these links don't necessarily filter down by this account. Is that accurate?
This account, they do. I mean, I don't think I have any cases on this particular account, but
Okay.
I mean, it's if we were on this account and this account was part of a parent-child hierarchy. It may be the child. We'd want like additional reports here that say, you know, parent cases created by contactor, something along those lines.
Sure.
So that
sure.
no matter where they're at, they can click on either just the account or the one that links them to the parent. But we couldn't figure out how to do it.
I'm serious. I think this ultimate parent account might be part of your solution.
Okay, I'm gonna be the annoying BA.
But I don't know. But yeah,
the annoying.
Dale wants to know why. Why?
Exactly. Why? Why, if we're at like the great grandchild of the parent, do we need to see all the information about the parent? Why does all of that need to be available from absolutely anywhere? Because that does create a little bit of technical debt. Why are we not consuming information about the parent from the parent?
I think a lot of that has to do, it's a great question, Dale. I typically wouldn't want to put things in places that shouldn't be put, but we do not have a very sophisticated sales team, and they may not really understand that they have more accounts in a hierarchy. So clicking on that would give them data that they potentially wouldn't even know that they had. I know that
Exactly.
sounds
Too much information, and not only too much information, but ambiguous information. I mean, I could easily argue that this approach is going to do more harm than good.
right. So you're saying if we went to just the parent account and ran and clicked on these, it should show everything for that parent and child. I don't think it does, but
It theoretically should. That my issue wouldn't be with doing that at the parent level. If the goal you're trying to accomplish is seeing everything from the top, then shouldn't pose a problem doing it from the top. If you're trying to see stuff from the top, from the bottom, that's where it becomes problematic, because I would pose the question, if you have an account hierarchy, wouldn't you rather see, if you're at the child level, the cases for that child level? And then as you traverse up the hierarchy, you're looking at what, just like the role hierarchy, you can see my team, which is me at this level and everybody under me. Why would you not want to say, if your account hierarchy is built in a certain way, that I'm at level 3, I'm right in the middle? What good is the information up top going to do you, versus saying, I'm a parent for a reason, show me and my children, which is what Salesforce is natively built to handle.
okay. All right. Yeah, I hadn't actually even thought about that. I just wanted to get them the information from pretty much wherever they were. And
Right.
But I get it. And I don't have a hard time going back to them and saying, look, if you want this data, you have to go to the parent account and run the reports from there. So
Gotcha.
and it's
Question for you, Diane.
Yep.
And I'm sorry if I wasn't paying close attention at the beginning. Is this more about access to data that you can use in, let's call them child or subsidiary records? Or is it more about the user's experience and wanting to know, what are my parents and what are my children? And are there some related children or children of children that I'm not aware of? In other
It's
words,
more-
help me with the UI about parent-child.
No, it's really not about that. It really is about getting information specifically just on cases. So when they go to talk to the client, they can, and the client, if the client has some objections to something, they can say, well, here's the cases that we've managed, here's how many we've solved, here's the time frame we solved it, you know, et cetera, et cetera. So,
Okay.
but honestly, I'm glad I asked the question, because I really do believe in what Dale was saying, that I should instruct them to go back to that parent account and run the reports from there.
Right.
So-
I mean, the link for
I'm
the
good with
parent account is right there on the case. It's not, right? It's not hiding. Or is the
Right.
parent account, the accounts, I guess maybe
The
that's
case
something.
is the individual account level, and then you'd have
Right.
to go to the account to get the parent account. I mean, yeah, you could pull in the parent account through a formula field or whatever, but it gets obviously muddier and muddier with a hierarchy. It's, what is the question? I need to see how many cases are related to this account. Technically, you're pivoting from the account record to see how many cases the account has. Your context is the account. If you're trying to ask from the parent level, which Salesforce can natively build through the account hierarchy, how many cases are for this overall account structure, you pull it from the top of the account structure, or whatever
Yeah.
level of the account structure to look down.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. Okay, that solves my problem. That was
All right.
it.
Then I think
Thank
that
you.
wraps up the questions that are sitting in the Trailblazer community. So thank you very much.
Rob,
Yeah,
I
is-
hope kept his mic hot because he has a process builder question.
All right.
Wow. Golly, how exciting. It's so nice to see you all again. Easy one. Let me share screen. Hopefully I can pick the right screen. By the way, I think I have discovered Newton's fourth law of the conservation of energy is that you're exhausted at the end of the day logarithmically by the number of screens that you watch. And I'm up to 7, and it's just about killing me. Can you all
You have 7
see?
screens. I kind of want to say I want to be you when I grow up, but then
No,
when you say it's
no,
exhausting, I kind of don't.
No. Then that smile that I see of you every day, Dale, when I log in would disappear
Uh-oh.
from every screen worldwide. Don't do that. I don't know. This is
I
really,
need that
this is
thing to go away.
I know you do. I knew you were going to say that. Okay. This is a really, really crappy, but you don't really need to see it. Here's the
Dale-
easy question.
Dale gets
When
a
I'm-
dime every time that
Does he
someone logs
really?
in. Yeah, he gets
I
a
was
commission.
hoping
off
I'd
that.
go on vacation and come back and somebody else would be spotlighted. I haven't logged in, but apparently I'm still there.
It's still there, my friend. Still there.
Anyway,
Okay.
go ahead.
At least
We're
you've got
do-
the beauty of Misty there with you.
That's true. It's Misty's and I'm just in the background. I will gladly take that.
Exactly.
So we're doing record creation based on the change of a field on an object. And the process builder question is there a way to dynamically grab this field name and populate it
The field
as a
name?
value? In other words, I'm watching a field here, and I'm sorry, the crop is awful. Let's call the field XYZ. Is there a way when I create the record to populate a text field called, oh, this is XYZ?
You're mixing oil and water, my friend. That's
What I
data
thought.
versus metadata.
That's what I thought. Okay. I said it was an easy question, Dale.
I mean, like you could do
You
it
can
in code,
pro-
but even
I was just going to say, I know you could do it in code. I know you could do it
Right.
in code, but you can't do it in process builder.
I would
Okay.
super love it. Like you know what? I'm gonna make a guess. I'm gonna make my prediction right now.
Yeah.
I'm predicting that within 5 years, metadata API will be available declaratively.
Holy smokes. You heard it here, folks. Write that down, Joy. You're our logger. You're going to log
Rob-
this for
Rob,
us.
explain that
Stuart.
to me. Explain that to me
Sure.
one more time. What you're
Sure.
trying to do.
Okay. So I have a condition on a field on an object. Let's call the field XYZ, and we'll say it's pick list yes or no. And if it's yes, then we're going to create a record and we're going to fill in a bunch of fields. And what I'd like to do is add a row here called field changed, dynamically put something over here that references this so that when the record is created, XYZ appears in the new record as the field that got changed. In other words, to do this right now, I have to just put a string in here, and the string repeats the value that I'm watching. Sorry, the field name that I'm watching. Okay, but I don't want it to be a string in quotes. I want it to be some sort of global variable, okay, that says, oh, I know what field I'm watching. It's this field over here. I'll repeat the name for you.
But doesn't track history do that? Like why
On a
are we
single field.
why-
Stuart,
why are we reinventing the wheel?
Dale, get me the trophy because Stuart gets. What is this custom object you asked, Stuart? It's a custom object.
Well, so hold on, time out. Let me
for-
make sure I understand. Are you trying to track for a single field the change in values, or are you trying to track which field had a change?
the latter.
Or
which field had a change? That's the short
So
answer
that-
there.
Okay, so
And-
that's still
And
metadata
Stuart's
API.
correct. This object is well past the field tracking limit. Matter of fact, it's at 30. Okay. So the custom object is designed to get around the limit. Joy.
Yep, okay.
is it
Joy, you're dying. Go
is
ahead.
this a specific field that you need to track differently than the rest of them?
No, actually, I've
Or are there
shown this
multiple?
I've showed this to a senior developer. He said, yeah, that's as good as it goes. But when we
No.
finally deploy this, we're going to make it agnostic to all objects. And we're not going to do it inside a process
But-
builder,
But
which
I've
is Dale's
seen
point. Go ahead.
I've seen
Stuart.
custom built history tracking, because I know you can only track 20 plus objects in an object. That's fine, or
Right.
20 plus fields. But I have seen custom built field history tracking in its own object,
As a custom object related to the first
custom
custom
object
object.
related
Yeah.
to the object, and then it will go ahead and track what field was changed, who changed it, and what it was, the value was changed to.
Okay,
And
but
just
did
a
they use
list
That
over
essence,
time.
But
and
did they
that-
do Apex for that, Stuart? Because I don't know a way to do it inside a process builder. And I think that's what Dale's trying to tell us.
You can do it in Process Builder, but you're gonna have an if statement for every single field on your object.
Your process
Oh.
builder is
History
going to look
tracking.
like mush.
Oh, I see where
Exactly.
Dale's going with this. If you list all the fields on the object and just that way it kind of says, did you change? No. Did you change? No. Did you change? No.
Yeah.
Did you? And it iterates through, then that's great. Here's the problem. Not only, I mean, think about it. The reason that the field history is maxed out is because the fields themselves are also maxed out.
Right.
There's 800 on there already.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and that's why
You
I'm
have
saying
a,
you
you
gotta
have a
get into
bigger
the
problem
metadata.
then.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You have to query the metadata API to know what changed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Holy cow.
Okay.
Snapshot report? I don't know. Like, what?
Snapshot, you have to aggregate though.
I know.
Oh,
I don't
that's-
know.
But that'll never scale, Joy. That'll
Right.
never scale.
Well,
I know.
So
I
like I
just-
said, not that 5 years or however many years down the road does you any good, but like hold out hope, because Flow has grown so much that metadata API has got to be on its way into the declarative space with everything else that has happened.
But not for process
Because-
builder. It'll be for flow. I agree with your
Process-
prediction, but it'll be
The
for
process
flow.
Well,
builder is a Flow.
Yeah, it'd
and
be
Process
available
Builder's
to
going
process
away with
builder.
everything that Flow is.
Okay. Okay.
'cause-
Okay. Okay.
Because custom settings, custom metadata types, like all of that stuff is available. If it's available to Flow, it'll be available to Process Builder. Now, whether you want to build it in Process Builder is a different question.
Yeah.
But
Hold on
I'm
to
wondering
Process
then,
Builder as long- Go ahead.
do you want to create a table in custom metadata and do it in there? You might have more control over it in there. But again, now you're talking about how to make a solution design around it, and my brain is too tired.
Yeah.
Well, and even the limitation of like the process builder approach or even custom metadata is once you start getting into permutations of fields changing, that is where you absolutely do not want to try and build it yourself. If you
Right.
have the metadata API, you're going to have a more fluid permutationable approach to it because the metadata API was built to look at the metadata.
Thank you. I'm not going to consume more cycles. You guys did a great job. And Dale, I love that permitted permutations. That's awesome.
Oh, you have your 7 screens. And I have my ungodly permutations of things.
All right.
Originally, I thought that you were saying that if the answer was no, that you wanted to change the label of XYZ to be something
No.
else. And I was like,
No.
oh,
No, no,
wow,
no.
that's really weird.
That's very creative, but no,
But I
that's
thought,
not what I was
but if you
asking.
did, then you could use, the page layout, the dynamic page layout to possibly do that, to have 2 different fields. And then if that happened, then show a different dynamic field to the users.
That might
So
be
not
fun.
on standard objects yet, but
Not
we
on
have
standard
solved-
objects.
We have kind of solved for that with a client that I'm working on right now. You make actions that are like smaller subsets of fields. You make an action out of those. It's an update action. And then you make it, you put that into a related record component on the Lightning page. That component then has the filter visibility on it, that if you're a
Yeah.
certain role or if a field equals whatever,
Yep.
then you make that appear.
You say, if this did that, then don't show these fields, or show
Through
these
the
other,
action, don't show
show
this
these
action.
other set of fields.
Right.
Yeah.
Don't show this related record, which is an action of these fields.
Wow.
Mhm. It's possible.
Okay. Cool.
I
Who's
think
next?
when you said, well, no, we ran out of fields, we have 800 fields, then I'm like, yeah, time out there.
If
That's
you have 5, I cringe at the 500 limit. I mean, now you get 900.
you're making me scared, Rob.
Sorry.
Don't do it, man. Don't do it.
I know. Who else has got a better question?
Nobody. We got
Well,
nothing. Did you want to circle
no.
back to Gina's comment?
Gina was just saying she had to jump off.
Well, she did, but that doesn't mean you guys can't comment on it.
What was she saying about that flow? We're going to use flow because it's not a development process, to which that also kind of
Well,
raised the hairs on my beard too as well.
So Melissa has a formula validation or validation question that we might be able to walk through, and
Let's
then,
do that.
and then if there's still no more questions, we'll keep her mic open for the process builder and flow conversation.
The Melissa show today? Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, let's see your formula.
Definitely the Melissa show.
See, this is
Go
what happens when
Kansas.
I actually get to join.
I love it.
It's great.
I'm just full of trouble. Okay,
No.
so let me, yeah, I can share the screen. Looking to see what I had up real quick. Okay, Zoom, where do I go to share my screen? It's been a while. Is there a button somewhere for me to share?
On mine, it's on the bottom. There's a green button
Oh, hello.
near the bottom of the screen.
Thank you.
Thanks, Stu.
You would think that that would stick out for me.
No, it doesn't. You have to coax it.
Yeah.
Oh my
Okay.
gosh.
You seen this?
Dale, are you watching this, Dale?
I
got
sent
a
it to him
preview.
first. I said, do you want to help me with this?
And it's
boy.
not that I didn't, it's more we have dead air. I was like, hey, maybe we can all do this. But I was like, oh, that's a lot of hard-coded IDs.
Yeah, but I'd rather use the IDs than the names.
But so I mean, let's hold on. Let's
Mm.
identify the issue here first, and before we say what about a role or something like that. But anyway,
Yeah,
keep going.
unfortunately, no. Oh, okay.
Okay.
So what I'm trying to do, and I just happen to be working on this right now, so I'm pulling it out. I am trying to make these 4 fields only, well, I'm using permission set to make it only visible for these users, but then only these users are going to be required to complete these fields. So I couldn't just put them as a required field because they're on a page layout that's used by a lot of people and they didn't want to do page layout. And so I've got
Yes, you can. Yes,
can
you
what?
can.
I can?
If these fields are only available through a permission set to those 7 users.
I thought I couldn't do that.
Well, if you can make it required on a page layout, but if page layout requirements are only enforced at the page level. If you can't see the field, it's not required. You're not requiring it at a system level.
Okay, so if I put it on the page layout, only visible to these people, they'll be fine.
Well, you
Still,
can put it on
it's-
the page layout that everyone sees, but if
Yeah.
these users are the only
Yeah.
ones that have field level security and it's required for them, they're the only ones who are going to get the
Yeah,
requirement.
it still,
Well,
it
that just
still
made it
obeys
easier. I
your,
thought that we couldn't do that.
no,
I thought I've had that issue before. Well, that just fixed that problem. Thank you.
it should obey your OWD, your field level
Or
security.
wide, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think our field security, the OWD is like pretty open.
But I mean,
Far more open than my last place.
but if only a handful of users have access to the field, they're the only ones who are going to get pinged on it.
Okay, I thought that had caused a problem for me in the past, but I hadn't gone back and looked, so good. Well, then I don't have to worry about this crappy big formula.
And it'd be
I
a
love
lot,
it when
lot,
validation rules get deleted.
yeah, and it'll be a lot easier to maintain because then you just set a permission set saying
Got it.
Available
Right there.
fields permission set, and then just
Yeah.
add those users to that permission set.
I was already doing that anyway, so that makes this even easier. Well, thank you. That was a lot faster than I expected.
Yeah.
Joy's over there celebrating.
So Dale, you don't want to see my custom object with 99 validation rules? All active?
Todd, since you're here locally, I'm sure I can smell it in the air from Overland Park to
Oh,
Olathe.
that's where I've heard Todd's voice before.
And I have tried my hardest to get rid of some, and nope. They're all.
I'd be
active
more than
and
happy
no
to. I'll
duplicates.
work
Well-
with you offline. I bet there's a way we could re-engineer it. I'd love to give you some of my time to do that.
Oh, free time from Dale. Take advantage of that.
Yeah, no
I'm
kidding.
serious. I'll help you if you want.
That and required fields are the two things that are just the bane of user adoption.
Right.
I've always seen that user adoption goes way up if you can get rid of required fields on a page and these rules.
I'm going to get into arguments with everybody here. We only have like 6.5 minutes left. I would argue required fields are the best thing ever, provided that there is a thoughtful process behind when and how they're required. If you just take a page and slap a bunch of fields and say these are required on there with no process behind them, yeah, no, that's the worst thing ever. Adoption goes down. But if the life cycle of the record is thoughtfully considered and developed, like an opportunity or a case, or something that has a life cycle, it's hard on something static like an account unless you're developing the account or a contact or whatever. But if it's just a standalone piece of data, yeah, that makes it hard.
Yeah, if you can give a path or a journey to every single object, then that's a win.
Mhm. So circling back to Melissa then on the flow question. Oh,
You have 6 minutes.
I just want to fight
So-
about everything. My name's Dale and I like to fight.
I do.
Okay, so Dale, are you arguing for or against Flow being a admin tool?
I would say it's the best of all worlds, because obviously flow being point and click, being declarative, that appeases the admins. You don't have to know code. You don't have to know syntax. You do obviously have to know how flow works,
You have to learn it.
but it obviously also then becomes a developer tool because you're doing heavy lifting automation. And then what actually puts a really nice umbrella over it is it teaches admins how to think like a developer. The example I always use is a bouncing ball. Not every ball is round. Footballs, they're oblong. Some are warped. Some don't have air in them. Thinking like a developer teaches you to predict where the ball is going to bounce. And you can then apply that to your process. First of all, no flow, no development is good without understanding the process. But to then translate that over into how flow works, but not having to know code. You then just like, you're taking workflows, a series of workflows, essentially. You're evaluating your criteria. If this, then go do that. And you're bringing it all together. So I'd argue that it's good for all.
It seems like in the past they said workflows are going out, we're using Process Builder. And then now they're saying Process Builder is still there, but we're really maximizing flow. Is that how you've seen things?
You're never going to see a fully deprecated automation tool. I'm gonna slap that one down as well, along with metadata API. being
One
declared
moment,
5 years.
please.
Do what?
One moment, please. Let me record that. No.
Oh, I already am.
No, I meant
Oh,
like in writing. Like,
Right. There is no way they can deprecate automation because so many instances, I mean, Salesforce is 20 years old now. That is a lot of automation to make its long-standing customers get rid of. Like that would be super bad. But that doesn't mean they can't keep doing what they're doing of saying, just go to flow, just go to flow. Like I totally applaud them saying, go to flow to do everything, because it centralizes everything. It keeps all the automation out of silos, but I feel like they're still doing a really good job of not deprecating, not removing capabilities from the long-standing automations because they know they can't.
Mm-hmm. It seems like you have to have the different workflow tools to make everything work. In some cases.
Yeah, in some places.
One doesn't
yes.
work, use a different one.
Right.
Yes, Stu.
I am definitely going against what Dale said. I don't like it when Dale uses terms like no code, low code, point and click, admin tools. Okay, Flow is definitely a visual coding tool. It is not a no coding tool. You have to understand coding in order to do it. You have to understand how Salesforce is going to use that visual code in its process. You have to understand the order of operations.
Yep.
You have to understand what other code is happening behind the scenes, because if you've got triggers, if you've got other code that's happening, are you just going to dump down a flow inside of this? Now you can run into a big mess. So I think having all these citizen developers that the Salesforce marketing team says, go out and just build a bunch of flows. I think it's a big mess and I don't like it.
So I'm gonna sarcastically say, see previous comment of teaches admins to think like developers, and have that be the nutshell over what you just said about order of operations and how code works and all that kind of stuff. I'm gonna say that. I'm gonna
Hey, Stu?
also,
No, go ahead.
I'm going to also blow your mind when you say, talking about if you're building a flow, what other code is going on. If you already have code, walk away from flow, do it all in code. If you already got to the point that you need code, do it in code on that object.
That was my next question for Stu, was if you can do like an Apex trigger or whatever, instead of flow, would you do it? And it sounds like, Dale, you're
Well,
saying yes,
yeah.
you would.
I got another thing on that.
1
Yes,
minute,
as-
boys.
as-
I think
as
there's
an-
less than 1 minute, and I just want to throw out there that the Manhattan group is actually meeting in August,
Very
and I have a
nice, yep.
co-leader.
As an architect, if I'm building something and I'm looking at an object that already has triggers, I don't suggest they build a flow. I say,
Right.
look at your trigger. We need to modify that and add something to it. But if it doesn't have a trigger on it, I'm going to say, can you use flow for that?
Right,
See, that's
exactly.
totally-
I was going to, what?
Sorry, I was going to say that totally kills, the fundamentals in studying for, exams like admin or app builder, where it says always make sure that you would use flow before you ever use triggers or Apex code for anything. If it can be simplified, use flow or use process builders. And so that was,
Hey,
you know,
you
I'm gonna
guys are all
revoke
great. I'm
Joy's
going to jump to the
co-hosting.
automation hour and see what they
Yeah.
say
So
about
just,
this.
yeah. because of
Mary
my-
Tagler's presenting today.
Oh my
My
gosh,
last
she's
comment was
she's
just
See you guys
awesome.
later.
Mel-
Dropping.
Bye,
Melissa, you
Melissa.
said if you can use code, do it. I was going to say, no, if you only use code, if you have to use code.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not if you can. Anyway.
Okay, good.
Bye, friends. Thanks so
Bye.
much. We'll see you
Bye.
next
Have a good
time,
weekend.
August
See ya.
6th. See ya.
yep.